All right, welcome, revelers. This is Off the Rails, Right versus Left, the podcast that we do because we think the left is evil. I'm Rob B.
And I'm Brad Lee.
And I'm Brian G.
And we are Off the Rails, Right versus Left. Again, we're doing this show because we think everybody needs to know that the left is evil.
Classic.
Welcome to Off the Rails, Right versus Left, the show that we do because the left is evil. As always, I'm Rob B, and with me, my faithful cohort,
Brad Lee. Unfortunately, today, our resident leftist sympathizer has had a family outing he had to get to, so he will not be joining us today.
So it's all right. We started this way so we can make it through another episode this way. Anyway, so today what we're going to be talking about is conspiracy theories, or, you know, a lot of it's what Democrats or the bureaucrats that are Democrats call conspiracy theories. But, you know, another word for that is, you know, the truth.
Right.
So, and there's actually a lot of this stuff. And Brad pulled up some really cool stuff a minute ago, so hopefully we'll get into some of the older stuff. But as long as there have been governments have lied to the people.
Oh yeah,
that's just the way it is. So one big one that we can start off with, the conspiracy theory of the FBI spied on Donald Trump's campaign.
Yes, that absolutely happened. It is true. It took a few years for it to come out, but it came true.
Yep, and they lied to the FISA court to get the warrants to spy on Carter Page and the Trump campaign.
And it was all paid for by the Hillary Clinton Foundation.
Absolutely. And then, of course, probably our favorite right now, Hunter Biden's laptop was a conspiracy theory. And Russian disinformation. Pretty much anything a Democrat says is Russian, it means Democrats are doing it.
Oh, no. Well, here's what's even better, though. You know, with the recent bombing missile strike that happened in Poland, this is classic. This fucking gets me. I just don't believe it. Saying that it's a Ukrainian missile that likely was fired from Ukraine, but though it was Ukraine that did it, it's still Russia's fault that it happened.
Okay, I actually get the perspective though.
I get it too, but it's silly. Because look. So if you take it from that perspective, then it's actually Biden's fault for letting it happen in the first place.
True.
I mean, you're right. Multiple things can be true, but I mean, if you're gonna play it like that, then we've got to ultimately take it down to why this all began in the first place. Which was Biden being a bolus sack of meat.
Right, but if we go recent events, Vladimir Putin's throwing a temper tantrum because he lost Kherson and is trying to smash all of the infrastructure in Ukraine all at the same time, and so he's launching cruise missiles all over the country trying to do it. If he wasn't having a temper tantrum, those S-300 batteries, and that's the funny thing, the missile was from a Russian S-300 system that they got from the Russians that they left behind when they were running away. Right. So if they had run away like a bunch of little bitches, Ukraine wouldn't even have the S-300 system. Anyway, right. Did I just call the Russians a bunch of little bitches? I think I did. Anyway,
who cares? They are.
So yeah, so I get the argument that it's still their fault, because if Russia wasn't engaging in the illegal war, it wouldn't have happened. Right. At the same time, well, yeah, you can't really fault them. If you know, Mexico, or if I don't know what, Dominican Republic is launching missiles into us, I wouldn't care if our anti-missile batteries were shooting at an angle that they all landed in Cuba. You know what I mean?
Right.
Who cares? They're trying to save their civilians that it sucks to land in, but So I don't know that I'd really go so far as to say it's Russia's fault. It kind of is because they started the war, but at the same time, it's Ukraine's fault, but you can't blame them because they were just trying to defend their civilians. It's not like they lobbed a missile into Poland. You know what I mean?
Like, it was right on the border of Poland and Ukraine.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing. It's like when you use a gun, like you may not intend to shoot the person behind the person you're shooting at, but if you do, it's still your fault.
Yeah.
And if you're reckless about it, you'd be charged with a crime. But
unless you're Alec Baldwin. There's another conspiracy. Alec Baldwin,
you can shoot whoever you want.
There's another conspiracy right there because he didn't pull the trigger.
Epstein.
The gun, Epstein. The gun miraculously just went off. Okay.
So, and then there was that other guy. I forget his name. Like conspiracy theory. But a lot of people that are close friends of the Clintons like die under mysterious circumstances. Like their friend that got like gunned down in the park in a robbery gone bad, but nothing was stolen. Like days before he was supposed to testify against the Clintons.
Right. That was convenient.
Yeah.
That was nothing conspiratorial about that, right?
Yeah, and it's funny because it's exactly like that journalist in Russia that got gunned down on the bridge in front of the Kremlin. And magically, all the cameras around the Kremlin were like not recording.
Kind of like a recent thing in Nevada that happened, where the cameras just went dark.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, hey, pull up that thing about the Operation Sunshine.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we're gonna show you some interesting conspiracies that actually came true. Some not so recent and some actually pretty recent that are interesting. Like I had no idea about this one. Operation Sunshine. Sorry guys, my computer's a little slow. I'm working on getting a new computer that'll be faster. Project Sunshine. Laughing at conspiracy theories is good fun, at least how they turn out to be true. Take the conspiracy surrounding the Project Sunshine, for example. In the wake of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the US government commenced a major study to measure the effects of nuclear fallout on the human body. The conspiracy? The government was stealing dead bodies to do radioactive testing. The truth? The government was stealing parts of dead bodies. Because they needed young tissue, they recruited a worldwide network of agents to find recently deceased babies and children, and then take samples and even limbs, each collected without notification or permission of more than 1,500 grieving families. The world only woke up to the horrific scientific history of Project Sunshine half a century later, but there are still a lot of unexplained mysteries out there. Did I lose you, Rob? Or are you still there? That is very interesting. Like, what is up with that? Why would they be doing that? Why would they be doing that?
The government's always up to crazy shit.
But like, I can understand that they needed young tissue to, do testing and studies on, but why would they not tell anybody?
Is it cheaper than buying the corpses?
Okay.
That would be my guess.
That's weird. What are your guys' thoughts on that? If you can, give us a comment. Oh, and by the way, like, share, subscribe, get our word out there. You guys have been doing great. We're getting good responses. We're getting better. We're getting bigger. Our platform is getting out there, and we appreciate that. So please contact us, comment, hit that notification bell. Once you hit that notification bell, select all notifications. Then do me a favor. Get on your cell phone, download the free YouTube app, and sign up and subscribe on there, and you'll get notifications on your phone.
Yeah, and if you have a hard time, like I have a hard time because I'm always doing something, I have a really hard time watching a video to the end. You can download Rumble, and it'll play in the background on Rumble. You can download or do it on the Apple Podcast or the Spotify. They both will play in the background. So you can catch the shows all the way to the end that way too.
Yes, so please let them play to the end, because that helps us out. It helps with the algorithm. Just like liking and commenting and sharing, it all helps us, and we can get our word out there. We're not always just about straight up politics and just all about the left either. We want to, put out good content as well.
So, okay, so what about the biggest like old time conspiracy theory of all?
JFK? The moon?
No, Roswell, Area 51.
Oh yeah. And then they finally came out and said that was a real thing. Now they're actually
all the governments around the world are now releasing information that yes, there are indeed like aircraft flying around in our atmosphere that we
know
can't
nothing
explain
about. It's funny because there's a place called the Skinwalker Ranch that's really had some weird stuff going on up in northeastern Utah. That's pretty
well, but we don't really know anything about that. But we do know on the whole UFO conspiracy theory thing.
What happened?
I think all those people that say they were abducted fit into a pretty nice, tight box. And I don't know if I was studying an animal to go for the ones that seem more advanced, not the yokels in the pickup truck.
Right.
Getting drunk in the pores.
Well, the thing is they had scientists up there at the Skinwalker Ranch, and there was groups of people that actually saw this werewolf-looking thing and seen some really crazy stuff, but they stopped investigating up there. So that was
right. Cool. And then I saw this other one that was they were patrols at, I don't know if it was Area 51 or if it was another secure base. But they were out doing their patrols, right? And they were like running exercises.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so like while they're out doing their exercise, they were moving towards two heat signatures, like trying to move in on the other team. But then like the person that was on the overwatch watching them, like he could see that the other two members hadn't even entered the playing field yet. And so like he radioed into them that whoever they were tracking wasn't the other team members. And then like right when they almost got there, the two figures like disappeared.
That's crazy.
And it was in a nuclear facility. So I don't know if you know, but something like 70% of the military reported UFO activity is around nuclear facilities.
That's interesting.
So, and then, and now this is truly like a theory, but I've heard a theory that a lot of the stuff off the Atlantic and the Pacific coast is actually like near the location where nuclear submarines are running with nuclear missiles. And that's why they're hovering off the coast, not near anything that looks like a strategic military target or even an interesting target, but just randomly off the coast. And it's like, I've never seen anything to back that up, because obviously the US military isn't going to tell you where their nuclear submarines, their nuclear armed submarines are at. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm like specifying nuclear armed because there's nuclear submarines that don't carry nuclear weapons.
Right.
Like we have hunter killers that just go out and like do their thing.
Right. So let's get into this one.
Yeah, what's this one? I can't quite see it.
This one is about bad booze. Okay, so the conspiracy was, during Prohibition, the government poisoned alcohol to keep people from drinking. The truth? Manufacturers of industrial alcohol had been mixing their product with dangerous chemicals for years prior to Prohibition. But in 1926 and 1933, the federal government pushed manufacturers to use stronger poisons to discourage bootleggers into moonshine. That didn't stop bootleggers or their customers, and by the end of Prohibition, more than 10,000 Americans had been killed by tainted booze. Much of the illegal booze was sold in infamous night spots called speakeasies, so-called from the practice of speaking quietly about such a
Who was the president during Prohibition?
Or went inside it. Oh, who was the president?
Was that FDR?
Let's find out.
I'm just kind of curious.
Computer. Okay. Who was the president during Prohibition? There we go. Woodrow Wilson. On October 28th, 1919, the United States Senate voted 65-20 to override President Woodrow Wilson's veto of the Volstead Act. Since the House had also voted to override the veto, America entered the Prohibition era. So Woodrow Wilson apparently...
Was Wilson a Republican or a Democrat?
That's a good question. I imagine it's going to tell us. President to override the veto, America entered the Prohibition era. Well, hell.
Dude, Wikipedia would have it right on the main page.
Right? They'd be like, let's see, Wikipedia. All right. Boop, boop, boo, doo, 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 doo. The alcohol industry was curtailed by a succession of state legislators and finally ended nationwide under the 18th Amendment to the United States Constitution, ratified on January 16, 1919, which passed, represented blah, blah, blah. Dude, it doesn't even say anything in here about Woodrow Wilson.
Yeah, because it's kind of obvious Wilson didn't actually have anything to do with it. He was a Democrat. So the Democrat actually tried to stop it there, and the Republicans tried to shut down drinking. Bad on Republicans on that one. Not that alcohol is good or anything, but clearly it led to the government poisoning 10,000 people. It led to how many deaths under the mobs and the bootleggers? And then how many people died or were blinded by moonshine?
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, that was an interesting aside to that conspiracy. So it is funny that you brought up the JFK conspiracy, but I think we can expound that to JFK, John Lennon, Malcolm X, and MLK.
And Woodrow Wilson, a leader of the progressive movement.
So on JFK, he was a Democrat, but was it Oswald? Lee Harvey Oswald?
Yep.
Yeah. Lee Harvey Oswald, they now the Democrats, they try and paint him as a right winger that took out JFK, but he wasn't. He was in Cuba a week before he killed JFK, and spent a bunch of time in Russia, and was a total socialist. So more likely, this is my version of the conspiracy theory. I think it was a Russian hit after the repeat of the Bay of Pigs and then the Cuban Missile Crisis, and Khrushchev was tired of being embarrassed, and so he took out a hit on JFK. That's my personal opinion.
The first lady who ran the United States, I think we all know about Oh, this is gonna be the same as Fetterman.
Yeah.
So the conspiracy was a stroke rendered United States President Woodrow Wilson incapable of governing. His wife surreptitiously stepped in. Truth. Wilson did suffer a debilitating stroke towards the end of his presidency, but the government felt it was in the country's best interest to keep things quiet. The public didn't learn about the stroke for months, during which time his wife, Edith Wilson, was making most executive decisions. Despite Mrs. Wilson claiming that she acted only as a steward, historians who have analyzed her in office confirm that for well over a year, Mrs. Wilson was effectively president. And although a woman president is yet to be formally elected to the White House, here are 10 quotes from the strongest women of the real world and silver screen for inspiration in the meantime. What?
Dude, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
We already had a female president and she wasn't elected.
Right? Yes. Government mind control.
Yeah, this is another one. Tell me it's MK Ultra.
That's exactly what it is. The CIA was testing LSD and other hallucinogenic drugs on Americans in a top secret experiment on behavior modification. The truth? The program was known as MK Ultra and it was real. The CIA started by using volunteers. The novelist Ken Kesey was one notable subject, but the program heads, to their knowledge, MK Ultra left many victims permanently mentally disabled. At the present time, another drug that alters food and perception and is causing great public concern because of its harmful effects is meth. What?
So here's the crazy thing about MK Ultra. So what we do know of it came from FOIA requests. So the problem is, like 90% of what MK Ultra was doing, there was no documentation because they were literally created to be like not answerable to anybody. Like, so literally, like there were 10 people that knew about it in the entire world. And like even the people working on the project half the time didn't know they were working on the project. Like, and it was crazy the stuff they were doing. Like they like brainwashed, they were like brainwashing like people to like kill their own best friends, like, but not letting them do it. They like took the bullets out, but I'm sure they tested to see if they would actually do it too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like our government's shady as shit. Anyway, but they also like they were having prostitutes like compromise businessmen and powerful leaders. Like it was just crazy the things that they were doing under MK Ultra. And the funny thing was, like, they literally had a guy, like they put him under deep cover. They like broke his like mind to where there was two of the guy, and like the one guy like was a rebel and a diehard and all this, and they like changed his entire record of his life. Like he was a like former military, but they made it seem like he had always been a radical. And they literally sent him into the Soviet Union. Like he collected all kinds of intel. He even got interrogated several times, but he never gave anything up because he didn't even know that he was a spy. So then when they got back, they met him in Japan or something like that, like gave him the command codes. And then the main personality took over and knows everything from both lives and like gives them all the information. And they put him right back under and send him back again.
What? Man, that is crazy.
Dude, but this is like in the actual records. They actually did this in MK Ultra. So they had full on mind control 80 years ago. Like full on mind control. Like gone. Dude, you checked out.
Unless like we tell you to check back in.
Yeah, and like it's crazy. There was like lots of documentation on the brainwashing, but then there was so much stuff that there are no records of, or that they were destroyed, so the records are incomplete. Like it's just insane, and they don't even know who got the complete records because even that was so super classified that nobody knew. Like nobody knew what nobody knew, you know? And
No,
nobody
I
knew who
don't.
the nobodies were.
That's
That
the
nobody
thing.
knew.
We don't know, but we don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody knows. So it was like the craziest, like, and the idea that the government was doing that back then, who knows what they can do now?
Right. They could probably hold up a light and push a button and then your memory's gone.
Okay, so if we all of a sudden go on here and start talking like a bunch of leftists,
You know what
then
happened.
you know the government got to us and reprogrammed us. If we get suicidal, it was the Clintons. Neither of us are suicidal. Anyways, all right. Since we got to throw that out there, since we already talked shit about the Clintons once.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, what you got next on the conspiracy hit list? Okay. So we don't want to talk specifically about the Voldemort virus, but it is very interesting how the news media and the government said that the origin theory was a conspiracy theory. And then you fast forward to now, like, what was it, 6 months ago? Fauci said that was the most likely origin of the virus.
Well, anything
And
that
then, like,
involves that
and
guy
then there was
is
like
most certain to be a conspiracy.
yeah, and then the conspiracy theory that the NAID was financing the stuff, and that was a conspiracy theory. It was debunked. It was totally false.
And then that debunking got debunked.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. They just say that it's debunked, and then when somebody says it one time, they use that person saying that it's debunked as proof that it's debunked. But there was never any work to debunk any of the conspiracies.
Right. That's like the Facebook fact checkers saying that it was debunked, and then when to their debunkedness, it goes into an article by mainstream media, and then mainstream media says that it was debunked circular.
Yeah, it was debunked by the fact checker that's citing them debunking it.
Right. So it's all just a bunch of, it's all just a circle jerk. These people are just jerking
I
each
almost
other
said
off.
the exact same words. I almost even said it was a circle jerk.
It's like the Dutch rotor. It's not gay if I'm using your hand to jerk you off.
Jesus.
So if you're holding yourself and I'm stroking your cock with your hand, that's not gay. And if you're doing the same thing with my hand, it's totally not gay.
Okay, I need to put a stronger warning on this one that it's mature audiences only. Oh my god.
Well, I mean, there wasn't anything vulgar about the language.
Bro, you just described a sex act. That was vulgar. Anyway, holy shit, that was vulgar.
The Dalai Lama, man, the Dalai Lama.
All right, so what you got on what you got on the Dalai Lama?
The Dalai Lama's impressive salary. This is ridiculous. The conspiracy. The Dalai Lama is a CIA agent. The truth. Perhaps the reason the Dalai Lama is smiling in all those photos has something to do with the six-figure salary he pulled down from the US government during the 60s. According to declassified intelligence documents, he earned $180,000 in connection with the CIA's funding of the Tibetan resistance to the tune of 17 million per year. Oh, I want to make sure that's right. Is it
yeah, okay.
1.7 million per year? The idea was to disrupt and hamper China's infrastructure.
Yeah, can you blame them?
Oh, and just so you guys know, all this is from readersdigest.com. So the Dalai Lama is believed to have the power to choose the body into which he is reincarnated, meaning that the current Dalai Lama is a reincarnation of last. Today, millions of people across all regions believe in reincarnation. When I die, I'm going to die and come back as a grapefruit.
Dude, I'm going to die and come back as one of those bunny rabbit dildos.
Mm.
I specifically picked that one because they're useless for gay guys.
It tickles their balls, dude.
No, it don't. That's not how it works.
How do you know?
Logic.
They don't have to put it in the way you think they put it in.
All right. So you were talking about the Dalai Lama. How about this Harvard grad that they installed as the president of Afghanistan that took off with all the U.S. money, left the country poor as Biden left all the weapons for the Taliban?
Yeah, and the Taliban took over. What?
Like, dude, are you telling me that like seriously, this Harvard educated guy is the one that was voted for by the people of Afghanistan to be president? Really? Oh, another more modern conspiracy, the Pink Revolution. So this isn't one that's ever been like legitimately debunked, but I knew people in you were being paid like 3 days salary every single day to stand out there and protest.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting.
So the Pink Revolution, Putin has always said that it was paid for by the West. It very well may have been. If you go back in my Instagram, I was on the Maidan like a week after that whole thing ended. Like I was there standing like in the remnants of the people that were still hanging out there after the protest. Huh. So, and I thought, and my ex-wife, she was from Ukraine. She was from Cherkasy, which isn't too far from Kiev. And like literally a bunch of her friends were rounded up, put on buses and paid to go out and protest. And then they say the government started shooting the protesters, but the rumor has it didn't come from the government facility. It came from the building behind them, and that it was actually like pro-Western people that shot their own protesters to get people even more riled up.
That's interesting. It doesn't surprise me.
So, but when I was there, they had a building under construction. And when they do constructions on high-rise buildings in Russia and, well, basically all the former Soviet places, they like print huge screens that they put in front of it that look like a building. So you don't see the construction behind it. What you see is a printout of what the building's going to look like when it's done.
Ah.
So
clever girl.
But it's printed on a mesh screen. So anybody behind it can see out. And nobody can see who's behind the screen. So awfully convenient positioning for a sniper to have been taking out people in the crowd.
We all know that the government's been spying on us. We all know that. That is like a conspiracy that everyone knows.
Well, like that was Snowden like proved a bunch of that.
Right.
That's why he's not allowed to come home.
Which Trump should have freaking pardoned him, but whatever.
I agree.
I mean, he exposed Obama big time. But fake battle, real war, the conspiracy, the Gulf of Tonkin incident.
Oh, this is true.
On August 2nd, 1964, was faked to provoke American support for the Vietnam War. By the time news reached American ears, the facts surrounding the North on the American naval ship Maddox were already fuzzy. Dude, that sounds ridiculously familiar to something we talked about at the beginning of the show.
Oh, are you talking the whole thing?
Yeah.
Excuse me. To me, the thing in Poland's like pretty straightforward.
Well,
like, and they didn't overreact because the easiest way to react would be like, oh, Russian shot missiles in. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what Zelensky was trying to do. He's basically calling for the end of Russia.
Yeah, he's been doing that since the beginning.
Right, but I mean, there was a lot of people that were really quick to jump on. This is Russia. Russia did this. We need to get involved. Like even some of our senators, even before anything had gotten out of this shit, like saying that we need to get involved if it was Russia. Like, dude, you don't even know. Why would you say something like that, you fucking warmonger?
Because they're warmongers.
Exactly.
That's the why. Warmongers got among, man.
Big Tobacco knew that cigarettes caused cancer.
Yeah, that's why they lost all those cases.
Yeah. What is this ad? No, I don't want to see your stupid ad. Okay, so that was 9.
Oh, Gretchen Whitmer.
Oh yeah, the kidnapping.
Yeah,
It was
so
all
that was
FBI.
like they called it conspiracy theories, and then like the FOIA requests go in, the information starts coming out, and like literally the guys were resisting every like criminal thing they're trying to get them to do.
Yeah.
And it was actually the FBI plotted this kidnapping and tried to get these people to try and kill Whitmer. Now, my question is, how far do you think they would have pushed it? You think they would have let her kill her if they had actually been willing to? That's the part that like blows my mind. Like, would they have gone through with it, or would they have made the arrest before they did it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Well, they're saying that now the latest conspiracy.
I'm just saying, Democrats and Epstein.
Right. Well, they're saying the same thing about the Proud Boys and the FBI being involved at the Capitol before the doors were left open, and the FBI won't comment. Well, dude, if they weren't there, then what's wrong with telling the American people no, they weren't there? You not answering the question is basically answering the question.
Why are there thousands of hours?
A video not being shared, they're hiding it.
Well, and then a lot of the people that are still being held were invited in by the Capitol Police.
Right.
So I wonder if Google will let me search this. Okay, here we go. So the Capitol doors, the doors to the Capitol building. Please explain to me how they would have opened them if they had not been open for them. You know how much the doors weigh?
A lot. And can't they only be open from the inside?
10 tons, 20,000 pounds.
Jesus.
The Capitol would not have been breached if they hadn't opened the doors and let them in.
That's crazy. Well, what about the bomber?
Oh yeah, what about him? That's kind of actually a good point on that. Like, what about him?
Yeah,
Like,
we don't know anything about him. Kamala Harris was literally in that area at the time. You mean to tell me that the Secret Service knew nothing about anything in that area?
Or the fact that you only hear that he planted a bomb outside the DNC, but they found a bomb outside the RNC first.
Right. It's really convenient.
Well, okay, so what that reminds me of is this dude, I don't remember if he is like an assemblyman or whatever, but there's this Democrat politician in Nevada who was like corrupt as shit, and like a reporter reported on him.
Yeah, and he killed him.
Yeah, he dressed up and went and murdered the guy, and the guy is still collecting his salary while he sits in jail being tried for the murder of a journalist. That like talk about your attack on free speech.
Yeah, that was in Nevada.
What the hell is that guy's name? Like I've mentioned it a couple times. What is the guy's name? Rolling Stone did the article about him. He was a producer for shit. I want to say CBS or something, like CBS News or CNN. I forget, one of the big news stations. And like he was about to break some big story, and the FBI swooped in, like took him out, like took out all of his shit, and nobody has seen him since.
Oh no, they found him. Yeah, dude, I know who you're talking about. I don't remember his name, but he came out. He's found at his mom's house, and he refuses to talk about anything.
Dude,
But
they
yeah,
still like he may have been in hiding, but they still disappeared his ass.
oh yeah,
Like,
no, you're
quick.
absolutely right. Yeah, no, I just
Like,
wanted you to know that they did find him. He's
okay,
alive and well.
So my question is, did he turn up at his mom's house because they let him go after the story?
Yeah, he won't. He won't talk
But
about. He
you
won't
get
talk
my
about
point on
anything.
it, right?
Yeah, it's weird because
They torture him for almost a year, and then they let him go, and they say like, "We're coming after you and your mom if you say anything." And he pops up, "Oh, I was at my mom's house the whole time."
yeah, he put out a documentary. It was like 1312 or something. It was about crap. It was about something over in the Middle East that he did a docu. Oh, it was about no, it was South Africa. It was Africa. He did a report on the special forces that had gotten ambushed there, and there's a documentary out about it. And I've been wanting to watch it, but my wife's like, I don't want to watch that. That's ridiculous. Yeah,
Sounds like a watch party to me.
yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a remember. But yeah, I know exactly who. Yeah, he did a documentary exposing what happened to the ambush and the special forces there.
Okay, so I know you hate Tucker.
Oh, I don't hate him. I don't hate him. I just don't watch him as much as you say that I do. I actually don't watch him at all.
No. So like the only reason I get him is because I have Fox News on my Rumble. So it like pops up. Dude, he did this story the other day. Oh, what was it? Shit, I had it and then I completely forgot what it was. Dude, he did a killer like story just the other day. Oh, I can't remember it. Damn it. Like it was gonna be good. Anyways, what's the one you got on the screen?
This is hilarious. What? Okay, so dude, there's alien evidence in the American Southwest. The conspiracy: ET is buried in the desert of New Mexico. The truth: this one is real. The Atari video game ET, the extraterrestrial, failed so miserably that the company buried unsold cartridges in a desert landfill. Wait, what did you think we meant? Real aliens in New Mexico? Not yet, anyway. Like, you fucking assholes. You got us into parody so much right there.
Dude, that's awesome.
Oh my God. This is great. What? I can't believe I'm reading this as a fucking conspiracy theory. Canada tried to develop gaydar. Conspiracy. The Canadian government was so paranoid about homosexuality that it developed a gaydar machine. The truth? It really happened. In the 1960s, the government hired a university professor to develop a way to detect homosexuality in federal employees. He came up with a machine that measured pupil dilation in response to the same sex erotic imagery. The Canadian government used it to exclude or fire more than 400 men from civil service, the military, and the Mounties. What? This progressive leftist Canadians did that?
Dude, like progressive what?
Oh my God. They would never do that now. I wonder what the LGBTQ thinks about this.
Oh, wow. That's crazy, dude.
Right? Well, we're going to develop gaydar, and we're going to show you a dude sucking another dude off. And yeah, if your pupils dilate from seeing that, you're fired.
That is crazy.
Oh, the Illuminati and the US government. Conspiracy.
Oh, dude, WEF.
A secret society that rules the world, the Illuminati and the US National Security Agency, are in cahoots. The truth? We're here to tell you that a link does in fact exist. Of course, that link is actually a hyperlink, i.e., an electronic link between two internet sites. If you type Illuminati backward, itinimuli into a web browser, you will land on the NASA or the NSA website. Click this link if you dare. Should I click it?
Click it, dude. But here's the thing though, like anybody could have bought that website and then hyperlinked it.
National Security Agency, Central Security Service.
Dude, what the hell does the NSA do?
We leverage our advantages in technology and cybersecurity consistent with our authorities to strengthen national defense and secure national security systems.
And what does the CIA do versus the NSA?
Our mission, cybersecurity. NSA cybersecurity prevents and eradicates threats to U.S. national security system with a focus on the defense industrial base and the improvement of our weapons security.
So these are the ones tracking you with your phones and listening to your conversations, guys.
Yeah.
That's them. They're the culprits.
I mean, that's weird though. Why does Illuminati spelled backwards take you to the NSA? I mean, I don't know what these seals are. That seems legit, but it goes, look, there's the seal right there. National Security Agency, Central Security Service. It takes you right to nsa.gov. That is crazy.
That is nuts. Like, not surprising, but it's nuts.
Right. Wow. So that's the 12 conspiracy theories. Huh. Let's go back to the original Google search that I did. See what other ones we could find.
Like, are you shocked at all though? Like, at all?
I'm shocked at the fucking ET one. That was fucking stupid. I'm like, really? Atari did so bad at making the ET game. They just fucking buried them in a landfill. That's hilarious.
That's cool. That is hilarious.
Top 10 conspiracy theory. Whoa, wait. What?
Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
15 conspiracies that turned out to be true. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Like, I'm waiting. Hit it.
You blacked out on me. Which one do we want to do? We got 11.
I can't see detail enough about this at the screen. Just go into one. Like, this is awesome. Like, this is fun.
15 conspiracy theories that turned out to be true by Buzzworthy. The Watergate scandal. One of the most well-known political scandals was Watergate. In the 70s, 5 men broke into the Democrat National Committee's headquarters with the intention to photograph campaign documents. They were caught, and the Nixon administration attempted to cover up its involvement. This eventually led to Nixon's resignation and the indictment of 69 people who were involved in some form. Operation Paperclip. After World War II, the United States created a secret joint intelligence objective agency in which they brought more than 1,600 German scientists, engineers, and technicians, many of whom had direct ties to the Nazi Party, to work for the government known as Operation Paperclip. Its primary focus was for the U.S. to gain an advantage in the Cold War. Operation Snow White. The Church of Scientology didn't want anything bad about them on record, and they went to criminal means to do it, called Operation Snow White. It included an estimated 5,000 covert agents of church members who infiltrated 136 government agencies to scrub unfavorable records about Scientology and its founder, L. Ron Hubbard. The USS Iowa turret explosion. In 1989, an explosion occurred on the USS Iowa and killed 47 of the crewmen who were manning a 16-inch gun turret. To explain what happened, 2 investigations occurred but came to conflicting conclusions. According to the U.S. Navy, one of the crew members, Clayton Hartwig, had deliberately caused the explosion because of a homosexual relationship with a fellow crew member that went awry. After further investigation, however, the cause was concluded to be because of an excess of powder bags into the breech of the turret. The Navy never admitted to wrongdoing. Okay, so
That's
okay. I think there's good reason to believe that the first was actually true, right?
right.
Because they said the cause was concluded to be because of an excess of powder bags into the breech of the turret. How did those powder bags get there? They weren't put there on accident, right?
Okay, dude, what about Pelosi?
What about her? Her or him?
Him.
Yeah. Dude, that thing's blowing up all in their face.
Dude, so like rumor has it his DUI, the reason they can't get the police report is because he was with a gay prostitute, and that this guy was a gay prostitute coming to do a nude show for him. Like, dude, it's gonna, like, I don't care what he does. What you do in your own house is like your own business. And obviously, Nancy knew what was going on because she pulled all the security off the house for him to have his private time. Like, but holy shit.
Yeah, when are we gonna find out the truth about that? After
Dude,
they're
but
both
hey,
dead?
you know what? Everything says that he's like this super nice guy. Like, that explains like how he like remains married to that troll. Like, he's gay.
Oh yeah.
He's not touching her anyways. Of course he doesn't care.
Would you?
No.
It's like having sex with a skeleton.
Skeletal world.
I'm more glad that he's having sex with alive men than I am knowing that he's sleeping with a dead, lifeless woman.
So,
at least he's not a necrophiliac, right?
Right. That's just crazy. Wait, what's this one?
The black box scandal. The black box scandal accused 8 members of the Chicago White Sox of deliberately losing the 1919 World Series against the Cincinnati Reds in exchange for money. After a public trial in 1921, the men were all permanently banned from professional baseball.
That is crazy.
The fruit machine. Oh, it's a gaydar again.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the idea of gaydar, the ability to tell whether or not someone is gay, might seem silly nowadays, but back in 1961, it was real. At the height of the Cold War, the Canadian government hired Frank Robert Way to create a scientific test that determined if someone was gay. The reason for this was to identify communist sympathizers and get them out of the government.
But the communists were against gays.
I don't get it. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Then we got MK Ultra again. The Gulf of Tonkin. Oh, Bohemian Grove. What is this? Every July, some of the richest and most powerful men in the world head to Bohemian Grove, a 2,700-acre campground in California, to engage in a series of hush-hush ceremonies that also include costumes, theater, and music. It may not include former U.S. presidents, oil tycoons, and other business leaders freely freely urinating on redwood trees.
Taking a piss in the woods.
What the fuck? Oh man, I wish these would go into like bigger detail.
Well, that's kind of the problem. They don't have any details.
Yeah. So here we go with the CIA paying the Dalai Lama. Abraham Lincoln's assassination. John Wilkes Booth is talked about in history books as being the man who killed President Abraham Lincoln, but it turns out that he didn't act alone. 9 other people were found to assist Wilkes Booth in some way, including a woman named Mary Surratt, who was the first woman to be executed by the United States.
Yeah, that's not really a conspiracy. That's well known.
Human tissue collected for atomic bomb tests.
You already covered that one.
Bayer medicine causes AIDS. In the mid 1980s, pharmaceutical company Bayer discovered that their blood clotting medicine for hemophiliacs carried a high risk of transmitting AIDS. They fixed the problem in 1984, but didn't pull the dangerous product from the market. Instead, they sold it to Asia and Latin America, while Europe and the United States got the newer version. What?
Wow.
That is some messed up man.
That is crazy.
That is ridiculous. The testimony that helped launch the Gulf War. On October 10th, 1990, a 15-year-old girl known only as Nayana, not going to work here anymore, gave a tearful testimony that recounted a terrifying event. She said she witnessed Iraqi soldiers take babies out of incubators in a Kuwaiti hospital, take the incubators, and then leave the children to die. This harrowing description helped the U.S. rationalize their decision to back Kuwait in the Gulf War. But Nayira's testimony was proven false. She was actually the daughter of Saud al-Sabah, the Kuwait ambassador to the United States.
Dude, they were going to go in on that no matter what.
Oh, yeah. As soon as they started blowing up the fucking oil fields.
Yeah.
The Tuskegee syphilis study. That's not really a conspiracy anymore. Well, I mean, it was back then, because back then they were saying that they weren't doing it. How this did not get to be a Nuremberg 2.0 thing is beyond me. And how the Black Americans don't realize that it was the Democrats that was pushing this on them is ridiculous to me as well. This right here alone proves that the Democrats are, in fact, evil. The Tuskegee syphilis study is one of the most infamous clinical studies in American history, conducted between 1932 and 1972. What? It's like 40 years.
40 Yeah.
40 years they were doing this to the Black Americans. It observed the natural progression of syphilis in Black men in rural Alabama. Unfortunately, this was not known to those involved in the study. They thought they were receiving free health care from the government. Hello, people. Do you not understand?
The government comes. How does that saying go? Anything free comes with a dick in the ass.
Yeah, or in this case, lesions under the skin. Good night.
Yeah, dude, it was fucked up. Like, there was a study of one guy. He like even tried to join the military, and they told him that he couldn't. And that was why they wouldn't tell him why he couldn't join, but he couldn't join because they didn't want him seeing other doctors. Like, he ended up getting cured of his syphilis like 30 years later, and it took like a huge lawsuit and everything. Like, dude, that stuff was so messed up.
Well, let's see what the CDC had to say about it. Dude, it was in Alabama. What prominent Democrat do we know that is from Alabama?
Who?
Clinton.
Arkansas.
Oh, that was Arkansas. Man, my bad. All right, I stand corrected. Please forgive me, Bill.
I was gonna say, I don't remember any prominent Democrats that fuck their uncles.
Yeah, you're right. Not just their daughters.
Uncle fuckers.
taking showers with their daughters.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. It was in her freaking diary.
Allegedly. Prove it. You can't
Allegedly.
prove it because the Democrats stole the diary back.
But you know who can though? Oh, what's his name? Because you know he saw it.
Oh, Hunter.
No. Project Veritas.
Yeah, but Hunter.
Well, yeah, of course Hunter saw it. But you know
Dude,
who
somebody
could
give that
prove,
guy a big rock so
you
he'll
know
run
who
out
could
of
you know
gas.
who could prove the contents of that diary though is Project Veritas. God, what James O'Keefe.
Yeah. Dude, I think somebody just needs to get a really big rock for Hunter and convince him to give up his dad.
Right? Well, I think that's what he was trying to do with the laptop that everybody was saying was a conspiracy theory. Oh, it's a conspiracy. It's Russian propaganda. Okay. Russian propaganda is everything that comes out of the left's mouth.
Right?
We've got video of Trump peeing on a prostitute in Russia. We never
Dude,
saw that, did we?
he's like 80 years old. If he can fucking get around to fucking pissing on a fucking prostitute, more power to him.
In Russia. Okay. Russia. It's a beautiful place. But if they drop bombs, if they drop bombs on Ukraine,
I bet his
just
stream
saying,
was huge.
lots of people tell me, okay, they tell me Russia's beautiful, but I will blow the place up. That's what I told them. I said, if you drop any bombs in Ukraine, I'm going to set those wonderful buildings on fire. That's what I said to him. I said,
Dude, when he was pissing on the prostitute, do you think the stream was huge?
it was huge. It was beautiful golden shower. That's what they tell me, folks. That's what they tell me.
You know I like gold. You've seen my toilet. Jesus Christ. Oh, you got any more good ones? Okay, so the one like debunk conspiracy theory about the 2020 elections. Okay, I'm not going to say that I know anything, but the bullshit that they say that all of the claims about the 2020 elections were debunked, none of them were debunked. All the cases that were dismissed because of standing, not because of evidence, not because of anything going to trial. None of them were completed. No information is had at all whatsoever. The reason they were dismissed was because the people bringing the suit were found to not have standing because they were not directly impacted. That does not mean the case was not legitimate. That does not mean that there was not evidence.
Right.
So the reality is, like, Thousand Mules proved that there was a lot of shenanigans going on down there in Florida. That Democrat congresswoman, she like fessed up that their ballot harvesting was going on, and as soon as they ended ballot harvesting, she lost her race. But they were literally paying people to go out and collect votes and like tell old people, oh yeah, just mark this box right here and this box right here. Like right. Literally like just like totally like, and she's a Democrat. Like I expect she'll disappear before she gets any like real testimony on the record, but you know.
Well, who knows? There's been people being arrested for voter fraud all over the country. There was a lady down in San Antonio who was just arrested not that long ago, and she pled guilty to voter fraud. When you've got hundreds of, well, not hundreds, but you've got a significant amount of people that are signing sworn
Dude,
affidavits.
was that the chick that was working for the Republican, and the Republican was paying her to like harvest ballots, and then she was harvesting them and like putting them in for Democrats? Was that her?
I don't know the story, but I know she was doing something for Democrats.
Yeah.
It was in Texas. But yeah, okay, so this really, dude, I never really actually believed in voter voters being disenfranchised or voter suppression. Certainly not because of the color of your skin, but when you go to vote in a Republican district and the person who's running for governor is also in charge of
The safety and security of the election.
Safety and security. Okay, you would think, unless you're a Democrat, that you would have printer ink and paper ready for the machines that you were going to use, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when the Republicans came around to vote in the morning, because that's what they wanted to do, because they have jobs and don't want to wait around for 3 hours,
bro,
just to vote.
Sure.
That right there is voter suppression.
Yeah, she was so sure of the results before the election, she didn't even bother to campaign because she knew she had her thumb on the election. She didn't even bother to going through the step of stepping away, like recusing herself and having somebody else cheat for her.
Right. And she should have. That's what blows my mind. And like Ben Shapiro on all of this is just I love Ben Shapiro. I love the Daily Wire. But when he does stuff like that, and even today he was talking about Trump's speech. Okay, well, Trump's speech wasn't fiery enough for him from last night. It wasn't the same old rhetoric which pissed Ben off in the first place. Now he's pissed that Trump didn't come out and announce his presidency with the same vigor and fucking prudence and fucking intolerance that he normally does. And that irritated Ben. I'm like, dude, what? Trump can't win with you, Ben, but you'll ride his coattails the entire time he's president and stick up for him. And granted, you will talk about some of the stuff that, he shouldn't have done.
Well, like, dude, if he becomes the Republican president, he's going to back him no matter what.
Oh yeah, I know, and so will everybody. But the only person that I've heard that's not completely given up on Trump is Michael Knowles.
Right.
Well, I mean, I haven't listened to a whole lot of Candace lately because sometimes she's a little too much for me, but I still love her too.
Yeah. Did you find any more conspiracies for us?
What's that?
Did you find any more conspiracies for us?
Well, I found conspiracy theories, misinformation, COVID-19, and the 2020 election.
Yeah, we touched on those as much as we want to. we touched on the fishiness without actually making claims about it. So, but yeah, y'all need to listen to the founding fathers. Don't trust the government.
Right.
And like it or not, politicians, every single one of them, is a part of the government. They exist because of the government.
Mm-hmm.
So they are, even your favorite politician is a tool of the machine.
Yep.
The only exception, Donald Trump. He can't be bought.
Right. And he's there to fight for us. He's fighting for us. And we shouldn't give up on him right now. Because he's not giving up on us. And I gotta be honest with you, he did last night. He ate
a little crow in his speech.
Huh?
It sounded to me, I didn't catch the whole thing, but when I tuned in, it sounded like he was eating a little crow about his own mistakes.
Oh yeah. And he dialed back his rhetoric. And instead of, worrying about the election and everything, his focus was on his achievements and what he plans to do in the future, which I think is a great message for him. I think he needs to keep going. And we can get to the attacks on the other candidates later on, but right now it's early. You need to talk about what you plan on doing in the future.
I hope this time he understands that he does not need to attack anybody. Everybody already knows who he is.
Right.
He doesn't need to choke slam him. Now he needs to teach him, or he needs to show people that he can be cool, calm, and level-headed.
Right. And that's how he's going to win back the independence.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. If he can do that, if he can show that, like, he learned his lesson, like, he got his ass whooped in this midterm, which he did. Like, for the kingmaker that he's been, he did kind of get his ass whooped in this midterm.
Nah, I mean, dude.
I know how you feel about it. He did
in the like elections that really mattered, which I don't think that we were going to take anyways. He should have done more research into the people that the candidates that he backed. He should have done that, because he did put in some crappy candidates like Oz. He should have never fucking backed Oz. That was that was his hubris. You know what I mean? I know, and he made mistakes.
Yeah,
and that's what cost us.
Right. No, his mistake was that he just assumed that anybody he picked was going to be good, to go because he picked him, instead of picking the best candidate. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I mean by, like, his hubris is what cost him. And, like, if he can own up to that, then he's actually going to make a lot better picks in his cabinet and all of that. And that's important.
And, we could blame Trump. We could blame the voters, because the voters didn't show up like they should have. But you could also blame Mitch McConnell and
the turnout
and Ronna McDaniels. You could blame them, because Mitch McConnell basically went out, and for every Trump candidate that Trump put in, Mitch McConnell backed the other guy, and the other guy ended up losing.
Yeah, well,
and
McConnell's not a Republican.
Yeah, that's clearly. But he's the leader in the Republican Party.
I don't know that I'd say he is. Like, Trump's the leader of the Republican Party.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, until he steps down or somebody takes the mantle from him, it's his.
That's what I'm saying. I thought you were saying Trump wasn't a Republican.
No, I'm saying McConnell's not.
Oh yeah, no, fuck. Yeah, but he's the leader of the majority or the minority party in the fucking Senate, which
maybe.
I thought they already fucking put him in.
Oh, he was nominated.
Let's see here.
Well, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I've been busy all day. I haven't checked the news today.
That's what everybody was saying, that he was elected the minority leader.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Mitch McConnell wins re-election as Senate minority leader, according to the Wall Street Journal.
And if he had played his business different, he would have been the Senate majority leader.
Yeah, but they asked him what he thought about Trump making his bid for the next presidential election, and he said he's just going to stay out of it. He doesn't have a dog in. I'm just going to stay out of it. I don't have a dog in the fight. God, that guy, dude, remember that, Hannibal, right? That's the second in the series of Silence of the Lamb.
Uh-huh.
That has the one with the guy who cut his face off while he was on fucking, yeah.
That's what Mitch McConnell sounds like.
And that's what he looks like too. His face looks like that dude's face.
I don't know about that.
It's all fucking greasy and fucking, like, it looks like a fucking healed over wound. Like,
I'm not sure, but I'm thinking you don't like Mitch McConnell.
No, I can't stand the guy. He's
Dude,
like,
I he is the swamp.
I had his back, and then because didn't like in 2020 he got Trump's endorsement. And I was like, I'm gonna pay attention to this guy. And come to find out, he's fucking just as bad as Lindsey Graham.
Yeah.
Ooh, complete list conspiracy theories.
Oh, let's see.
Let's see what this full list: the JFK assassination, 9/11 cover up, Area 51.
Whoa, what's the 9/11 cover up? Well, thanks to Will Smith and his wonderful acting, we already know that Area 51 exists and there are aliens there.
There's some truth in everything, isn't there?
And Will Smith is gonna get a new ship and line all his buddies up right alongside him. Gonna pimp slap him like he's Chris Rock.
Wow. Okay. Not
Dude,
since
So here's another conspiracy theory. That bullshit with Will Smith at the fucking Oscars was scripted. Don't believe me? There's literally a movie that had the exact same words, the exact same scenario. The guy walked up and smacked the presenter and like said the same thing. Keep my wife's name out of your mouth. The exact same words.
Oh yeah, word for word. It was another comedian, a white comedian, right?
Right.
Yeah, it was the same exact thing. And he was like, dude, it was a joke.
Yeah.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. Yeah.
Dude, word for word. Like
okay.
that shit was fake as hell. Why didn't they just say it? Like, okay, it was a skit. Okay, what's the 9/11 cover up? Now I want to hear this one because a lot of the shit that I hear in these 9/11 conspiracy theories are some bullshit, and I know for a fact the science that makes them bullshit.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Here I go. Not since the JFK assassination has there been a national tragedy so heavily imprinted in the American minds, or that has given rise to quite as an alternative explanation. While videos and photographs of the two planes striking the World Trade Center towers are famous around the world, the sheer profusion and documentary evidence has only provided even more fodder for conspiracy theories. A May 2006 Zogby poll found that 42% of Americans believed that the government and the 9/11 commissions concealed or refused to investigate critical evidence that contradicts their official explanation of the September 11th attacks. Why had the military failed to intercept the hijacked planes? Had the government issued a stand-down order to minimize interference with a secret plan to destroy the buildings and blame it on Islamic terrorists? In 2005, Popular Mechanics published a massive investigation of similar claims in response to them. The reporting team found that the North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, did not have a history of having fighter jets prepped and ready to intercept aircraft that had gone off route. And while the team found no evidence that the government had planned the attacks, lack of proof has rarely stopped conspiracy theorists before.
Okay. So, yeah, they did have a policy to intercept hijacked planes. So that's actually false. But no, so the one that I always hear that I'm like is stupid shit. Like people always point out that steel melts at like 2,000 degrees and jet fuel burns at like 900 degrees. Yes, this is true. However, with a forge that only gets up to 600 degrees, you can turn freaking steel into putty and shape it into swords.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So nobody's arguing that the steel melted, but it did heat up enough that it became like spaghetti noodles.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then once and like, if you, have you ever, I watched like explosions just like that. If you watch how the buildings collapse, like one floor collapses and then like the momentum of the floors above, like
Yeah.
just keep collapsing it down one floor at a time.
Yeah.
So like the way the buildings came down was exactly how they should have come down. Like
Right.
it was absolutely like retarded to say, oh, the jet fuel couldn't have done that. Yes, it could have. It was enough to weaken the steel on like the 90th floor, and 10 floors moving was more stress than the building was designed to take. Like
Right.
the building is designed to have a little bit of give anyways, which is going to further increase the pressure. They have a little bit of give because have you ever stood on top of a skyscraper?
Yeah. Well, even the Space Needle.
Dude, well, I don't know about the Space Needle because towers are made a little bit different.
Well, the Space Needle,
but,
you can feel the Space Needle moving when you're at the top.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is like they kind of wobble a little bit because if they were rigid, like a strong storm would knock them over or an earthquake could collapse them. They actually had that problem in the Great Alaskan Quake in like the 60s. Like all the big buildings collapsed. So they like rebuilt them. And when they rebuilt them, they built them with the like ability to move. So
yeah, and they got that technology from Japan.
Yeah.
Because Japan they've been building their shit like that forever.
Yeah.
With the ability for it to move and shift because of all the fucking earthquakes and fucking volcanoes and shit there.
Right.
But yeah, no, we actually the Museum of Science and Arts here in Fort Worth, they actually have one of the beams from the World Trade Center, and it's all fucking warped and jacked up. They have it like right in the entrance as you come into the museum.
Yeah, it's not melted. It's all twisted like it was being forged, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that's exactly what should happen. So like I always I just that was always the conspiracy theory that I heard the most was, you know, the steel could melt, and it's like it's not melting. Nobody ever said it melted. So the official explanation of the building collapses did not say that they melted. And then yeah, the little like 6-story buildings over it, yeah, I don't know, 100,000 tons of concrete coming down is going to shake the ground enough to collapse that little 5-story building. Like I believe that no problem.
Right, absolutely, yeah.
So now as far as how the hijackings went down, there's a lot of sketchy shit in that. Like I have a really hard time buying 300 people like sitting there like and just like taking it as hijackers, like start flying low in to New York City, like they had to have known what was up.
Right.
And then they're gonna just sit there and wait until they die. Like I don't know.
Well, I mean, look, you take a look at the guys who stopped them from crashing the plane into the Pentagon, right?
Right.
They fought.
No, Congress. The one hit the Pentagon.
Or what was the other one? In
the other one was supposed to be going to Congress.
The one that crashed in the field?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was the theory. That was the direction it was traveling.
So here we go with Area 51 and the aliens.
All right. What's it got?
We may have Tang thanks to the space program, but who gave us such innovations as the stealth fighter and Kevlar? Aliens, of course. Conspiracy theorists believe that the remains of crashed UFO spacecrafts are stored at Area 51, an Air Force base about 150 miles from Las Vegas, where government scientists reverse engineered the aliens' highly advanced technology. Fodder for this has come from a variety of supposed UFO sightings in the area and testimony from retired Army colonel who says he was given access to extraterrestrial materials gathered from an alien spacecraft that crashed in Roswell, New Mexico. Some believe that the government studies time travel at Area 51, also known as Groom Lake or Dreamland. The government has developed advanced aircraft and weapons systems at nearby Nellis Air Base, including stealth bombers and reconnaissance planes. In the government's official line, that the details of Area 51 are classified for purposes of national security is only seen as further proof that the military is hiding aliens or alien spacecraft.
I don't know now, especially now that the governments are releasing all this shit about there actually being spacecrafts that they can't fucking explain. Like, I believe this may all be true. Like, it's perfectly believable to me. I just wonder what they look like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely believe it all. Like, I have no doubts in my mind whatsoever that the government would hide some shit like that. What is that?
Paul is dead. Okay, so this is interesting. Paul McCartney never wrote Maybe I'm Amazed. He never formed the band Wings. He never clashed with Yoko, became a vegetarian, or fathered any of his children. When Queen Elizabeth knighted him in 1997, she was actually knighting someone else. This is because conspiracy-minded Beatlemaniacs say Paul McCartney secretly died in 1966. Theorists claim that the other Beatles covered up his death, hiring someone who looked like him, sang like him, and had the same jovial personality. But the guilt eventually got to them, and they began hiding clues in their music. In the song Taxman, George Harrison gave his advice for those who die, meaning Paul. The entire Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album was awash with Paul is dead clues. The Beatles had formed a new band featuring a fictional member named Billy Shears, supposedly the name of Paul's replacement. The album contained John Lennon's A Day in the Life, which had the lyrics, "He blew his mind out in a car." And the recorded phrase, "Paul is dead, miss him," which becomes evident only when the song is played backward. Lennon also mumbled, "I buried Paul," at the end of Strawberry Fields Forever. In interviews, Lennon said that the phrase was actually cranberry sauce and denied the existence of any backward messages. Paul is dead believers think the Beatles accompanied these backward tape loops and veiled references to death with album covers that illustrated the loss of their friend. The original cover of 1966's Yesterday and Today album featured the Beatles posed amid raw meat and dismembered doll parts, symbolizing McCartney's gruesome accident. If fans placed a mirror in front of the Sgt. Pepper album cover, the words Lonely Hearts on the drum logo could be read as one X He Die One. And of course, there's the Abbey Road cover on which John, George, and Ringo forewent all pretense and pretended to cross the street as a funeral procession. John wore all white like a clergyman. Ringo, the mourner, dressed in black. George donned jeans like a gravedigger. Paul wore no shoes. He didn't need them because he was dead and walked out of step with the others. If Paul is dead, then his impostor is still at large. He met and married Linda Eastman, with whom he had 4 children before losing her to breast cancer in 1998. He released a live album in 1993 called Paul is Live, Likely Story, and produced more than 20 solo albums, and that's not even counting the ones released by Wings. Then he endured a horrible divorce from Heather Mills, which may have made him wish he were dead, or at least was still Billy Shears. So who is the real McCartney? The world may never know.
That is some crazy shit.
What? You people quit taking LSD, man. That's your whole problem. Oh, God.
Wow.
We'll talk about reading into stuff. Oh, geez. Oh, man. Oh, God.
All right, what else we got?
That was worth a laugh. Secret Society. Oh, look, there's the sign of the Freemasons. Okay. If you were really a member of the global elite, you'd know this already. The world is ruled by a powerful, secretive few. Many of the rest of us peons have heard that in 2004, both candidates for the White House were members of Yale University's secret Skull and Bones Society, many of whose members have risen to powerful position. But Skull and Bones is small potatoes compared with the mysterious cabals that occupy virtually every seat of power from the quarters of government to the boardrooms of Wall Street. Take the Illuminati, a sect said to have originated in 18th century Germany and which is allegedly responsible for the pyramid and eye symbol adorning the $1 bill. They intend to foment world wars to strengthen the argument for the creation of a worldwide government, which would, of course, be satanic in nature, or considered the Freemasons, who tout their group as the oldest and largest worldwide fraternity and boast alumni like George Washington, or alumni, sorry, like George Washington. Some think that despite donating heaps of cash to charity, they're secretly plotting your undoing at Masonic temples across the world. Or maybe some theorize the guys pulling the strings aren't concealed in shadows at all. They might be the intelligentsia on the Council on Foreign Relations, a cadre of policy wonks who allegedly count their aims as publishing an erudite bi-monthly journal and establishing a unified world government, not necessarily in that order. Read, it's a plot. I mean, there's a lot of truth. There's a lot
erudite.
There's a lot of truth to that, though.
Yeah, the word that you're struggling with there is erudite, but nice vocabulary lessons for today.
Yeah, right. Whoa, geez, Louise. So that's
what happens when, dude, my reading list is so like retarded. I've got like quantum physics and string theory and nanofabrication and all kinds of shit in my reading list. So like coming across some like jacked up words doesn't faze me.
erudite bi-monthly journal. Okay, so here we go. Here's the moon landings were faked. Okay. And it's funny because
I got some shit to say about this one, but I don't think the moon landings were fake, but there is something that's a conspiracy in there. But go ahead.
Okay, so dude, the Daily Wire has a great documentary about this. It's like a 4-part series. It's pretty good. We should do a watch party on it. One of these
sounds like a plan.
One of these days, but because I liked it, I watched it. I was like, wow, it was very interesting. But yeah, I don't think the moon landings were faked at all. I used to, but I after seeing that, I don't think that it's true.
Okay, wait. Everybody, if you're having fun, yes, today's just a fun episode, but make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure that you share, make sure that you comment. Dude, we're having fun. Even the people that are being kind of uncouth, we're still having fun interacting with our listeners. We're happy to hear you. Just make sure that you hit that subscribe, the like, give us a thumbs up, interact with us. 5 stars if you're listening on Spotify or Podbean or wherever you're listening to us.
And spread the word. We're not always going to have stupid shows, and we love doing the watch parties. If you guys have any ideas of watch parties for us to do, we're always going to think the left is evil. We can always get into that. But I mean, some of these conspiracies are brought on by the left. Some of them not so much, like the booze conspiracy. Well, that was bad on the Republicans. So let's get into the moon landings were faked. It's now been nearly 4 decades since Neil Armstrong took his giant leap for mankind. If that is he ever set foot off this planet. Doubters say the U.S. government, desperate to beat the Russians in the space race, faked the lunar landings with Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin acting out their missions on a secret film set located, depending on the theory, either high in the Hollywood Hills or deep within Area 51, with the photos and videos of the Apollo missions only available through NASA. There's no independent verification that the lunar landings were anything but a hoax. The smoking gun, film of Aldrin planting a waving American flag on the moon, which critics say proves that he was not in space. The flag's movement, they say, clearly shows the presence of wind, which is impossible in a vacuum. NASA says Aldrin was twisting the flagpole to get the moon soil, which caused the flag to move. And never mind that astronauts have brought back hundreds of independently verified moon rocks. Theorists have even suggested that filmmaker Stanley Kubrick may have helped NASA fake the first lunar landing, giving that his 1968 film 2001: A Space Odyssey proves that the technology existed back then to artificially create a space-like set. And as for Virgil 1, Grissom, Edward H. White, and Roger B. Chaffee, three astronauts who died in a fire while testing equipment for the first moon mission. They were executed by the US government, which feared they were about to disclose the truth. Far-fetched as the hoax theory may seem, in 1999, Gallup polls showed that it's comparatively durable. 6% of Americans said they thought the lunar landings were fake, and 5% said they were undecided. That is a small amount of people to say that a great amount of American people believe that. To me, that proves that more Americans believe that it was true than believe that it was faked.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so here's the thing about the actual moon landings. Okay, so yes, the moon landings happened. This is like stupid shit, but they were not alone up there. So there was audio of them talking about those suckers are big. They're watching us from the horizon, from the what they call it, the from the like edge, like talking about the crater's edge. What it sounded like, from what I heard, was it sounded like there were literally like aliens watching them when they landed on the moon.
Okay.
Like that's like no joke. Like and then there were like actually pictures from the moon landing where it looked like there was something off in the distance behind them. So yeah, it was all kinds of crazy. And NASA re-released the videos like scrubbed. You know, kind of like they did with the face on Mars. Like they supposedly cleaned it up, but the resolution was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like the pixelization was lower, not higher.
Well, that's yeah. Well, some of the videos that they play on that documentary, the Apollo missions for the Daily Wire, there's some pretty good video. And I mean, their whole deal with the flag, like I used to believe that, but then when I watched this video, I'm like, okay, that does not look like the wind is blowing. It doesn't.
No.
When you watch,
well, and then the other thing about it, like the gravity is so much lower, it's not going to pull down the flag as fast as it would here on Earth.
Mhm.
And then without any countervailing wind, any motion that it has is going to continue longer because again, less gravity dragging and no air resistance stopping the movement.
Right. And of
Does that
course
make
it's going to
sense?
move because he's moving the flag. I mean,
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense to me anymore. So
Yeah, I always thought the like conspiracy that the moon landing never happened was just stupid.
yeah, well, we watched the rockets take off from the ground.
Now, what I do find interesting was all the telemetry that was lost. Like, you know, the original video, like there's clips that like news shows recorded and stuff from the moon landing, but the actual recording, the actual transmission is gone.
Right. Did you know that Buzz Aldrin and them almost didn't make it back?
I didn't know that.
Because they're talking about it in the documentary. Something happened, and when he was bringing the moon rocks up, he hit a switch or something that was going to keep them from actually launching back up into space to go back to the original rocket. And they had like a little amount of time to figure out what they were going to do to fix it. And what he did was he used a part of a pin to replace whatever it was, the switch or whatever. I don't know. We'll when we do the watch party, you'll see what I'm talking about. But like, and they talked to Buzz Aldrin about it. They were like, dude, you had like, what were you thinking about, what you were going to say to your family if you couldn't figure out how to fix this issue? He was like, no, I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about how I was going to fix the problem so that we could get off this damn rock.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, he was like, no, I wasn't thinking. I was thinking about getting off of this rock, not fucking dying up here.
But the majority of people don't understand like the mental fortitude for success in anything. So, like, you don't think about possible failures. You think about how you make success happen.
Right.
So what's the next one?
Jesus and Mary Magdalene.
Oh yeah, they were married. Oh, what?
Jesus and Mary Magdalene might have been married, or so says the Gospel of Philip. Sure, it's the basic plot of the Da Vinci Code. The thriller also wraps in conspiracy shibboleths like Opus Dei and the Knights Templar for good measure. But the theory finds its basis in writings from the Gnostic Gospels, which were discovered in 1945 and whose authenticity religious experts still dispute. In the Gospel of Philip, Mary Magdalene, who is referred to as Jesus koinonos, a Greek term for companion or partner, is depicted as being closer to Jesus than any other apostle. In an exchange between Peter and Mary, he admits to her that the Savior loved you above all other women. A tense moment in the scripture that seems to portray the jealousy that the other apostles might have felt for Mary's relationship with Jesus. The only other evidence used to support the theory is a mention of Jesus kissing Mary often, but some say kissing was the custom and it was typical of Jesus to practice it with those close to him. Remember Judas?
Yeah, I think there's like the Catholic Church like totally ripped up the Gospels. So go ahead and pull up the next one.
Well, that's weird though, because they say that so Mary Magdalene was an apostle. Like, how come there's no book of? Is there a book of Mary in the Bible? I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah, the Bible as you see it is been completely edited and altered by the Catholic Church. I want to say they called it the Bible colleges or there was literally a convention where they decided which gospels were going to be in and which gospels were going to be out. So prior to that, all the gospels were scrolls that were taught by the various incarnations of the church around the world. But they literally picked and chose what gospels were going to be in what would be the official Bible. So the official Bible didn't actually come into existence until like 600 years after the death of Christ. And it was
so it doesn't really
Catholic
say
Church
that she was an apostle, but that she was closer to him than any other apostle. But if that was the case, you would think that she would be an apostle and would have writings for the book, right?
Right. And the theory and the understanding was that she did have her own accounts of her life with Christ, but that they were removed because it talked about their children and Jesus's brothers and sisters.
That's interesting.
Because I mean, if you think about the time and age, like, why in God's name would Mary have only had one kid?
Right.
Like, that's just stupid.
Mary and Joseph, nothing in the Bible tells us about Mary and Joseph.
Right, exactly. Like, there's like, that's like the worst told story in the history of the world, that he goes from 12 to 30. Mm-hmm. Like, if you can't see the problem in that right at its face, you got some issues.
Well, I've always wondered, who is this King James and who gave him the authority to write the book of God?
Okay, King James did not write the book of God.
I know.
It's the translation.
I know. Thou arteth stupideth. Just like
I didn't know.
NIV version is it's just the like a high schooler would rather read the NIV as opposed to like a college student wanting to read the King James version. It's,
So my Bible study podcast, we use the NIV.
right.
So, but we use the annotated version of the NIV that literally calls attention to odd translation peculiarities. Like, there's a lot of words that were masculinized or feminized that shouldn't have been, because in the original Aramaic it would have been genderless.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yeah, they added gender in, which kind of made the Catholic Church sexist, which doesn't sound like Jesus, but it sure does sound like the Catholic Church.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, there was, let's see.
So the next one, I don't know. Do we really want to get into this?
What is it?
Holocaust revisionism.
Let's see what it says.
Okay. Despite overwhelming evidence and an admission and apology from Germany decades ago, revisionists continue to claim that nearly 6 million Jews were not killed by Nazis during the Holocaust. Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, for one, has called the Holocaust a myth and suggested that Germany and other European countries, rather than Palestine, provide land for a Jewish state. Unlike Ahmadinejad, most revisionists do not deny the Jews were interned in prison camps during World War II. Rather, they argue that the number of deaths was greatly exaggerated. Gas chambers are a particular sticking point. Holocaust deniers say they were purely a rumor, or if they indeed existed, were not powerful enough to kill, though evidence and history indicate otherwise, and the photographs of emaciated and dying Jews. Attorney Edgar J. Steele, a revisionist, says all those pictures of skinny people and bodies stacked like cordwood were actually of Czechs and Poles and Germans who died of typhus, which was rampant in the camps. Bro, I don't know about that. I think we can go ahead and say the Holocaust happened. And yeah, it probably wasn't just all Jews, because we know that the Nazis weren't just rounding up only Jews. But it was a bad thing and it happened.
Yeah.
Am I wrong in saying that?
No, dude, like, the Holocaust is not disputable, no matter what the brother fucker Elon Omar says.
Mm-hmm.
Shut your fucking face, brother fucker.
Yeah. You're the one that fucked your brother, brother fucker. You don't eat or sleep or mow the lawn. Just fuck your brother all day long.
Wow, you took that further than I planned on.
It's the song.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
after my trip, I say South Park got it wrong. It's not blame Canada, it's blame Air Canada.
Air
oh my
Canada.
God. Yeah, people don't fly Air Canada. They suck balls.
All right, so moving on.
So okay, so back to the Bible. So, like, churches that were using the Bible like would like pick and choose what books to include. And the Council of Nicaea, it's not quite exactly how like it was depicted in the Da Vinci Code and all that, but at the Council of Nicaea, they did kind of like formalize what was going to be considered part of the Bible. Mm-hmm. And then kind of like the Protestant version and the King James version was kind of revisited again in the 1600s under Martin Luther and the Protestant Reformation. So like there's been like 1600 years of tossing out books of the Bible. Like, what do you got? Like 5 or 6 accounts of apostles. How many apostles were there?
12.
So are we missing half of them?
Yeah.
Like, just right at the face, that's like right there. And then like a lot of the original stories, like the Book of Enoch, like that should have followed Genesis, been between Genesis and Exodus, missing from the Bible, stuff like that. So, like, yeah, the story of Jesus has been highly curated, and like the purpose, I think, was to make Jesus even more divine than he was supposed to be, and to give that ultimate like heavenly authority to the church. Does that make sense?
Which, you know, it sounds to me like you could make a case that organized religion is somewhat comparable to organized crime.
Ooh, I don't know about organized crime, but I would definitely say like the majority of the major churches are cults. Dude, have you ever heard of Iglesia Ni Cristo?
I believe I have.
Okay, so it's called the Church of Christ, right? Supposedly they believe in the Bible, right? Obviously, Church of Christ. However, nobody is allowed to read the Bible except the deacons of the church. Nobody's allowed to teach the Bible except for the pastors selected by the church. And even though they're reading from a Bible that says that Jesus is the Son of God, they say Jesus isn't the Son of God. And yet there's like millions of members around the world. And this like religion was formed in like the 1960s in the Philippines or something like that. Or maybe 1930s.
That's crazy.
Like, it is nuts. But dude, I like that. There were some other ones, like this one cult leader, like his wife got pregnant and he like declared that his son was going to be the reincarnation of Christ. And then this kid was so weird. He was like having like sex with his sisters and his mother, and then just one day he decided to kill them all to like purify them so they can go to heaven. And like he only got caught because one of his sisters had a job working for a doctor, and like they went to the house. Like they had already fled the US because like the whole incest thing got out. So, and I think they moved to like France, and like they went to get the sister, and she was getting ready to leave and go with them because it was her turn to get killed. Like, that is some crazy shit. They were like voluntarily doing it. Like when the kid was ready to kill him, like the mom and the sisters that they killed, like literally just assumed the position to be killed so he could bash their heads in. Dude, crazy shit. Like, oh my God. We should do a whole episode on religious cults. You know, well, we'll have to make sure Brian's here because, like, I'm going to start with the biggest cult of all, the Catholic Church.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we have two more conspiracies left in this one.
All right.
Okay. So this is the CIA and AIDS. Okay. Since the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention first reported the HIV/AIDS epidemic in 1981, rumors have persisted that the deadly virus was created by the CIA to wipe out homosexuals and African Americans. Even today, the conspiracy theory has a number of high-profile believers. South African President Thabo Mbeki once touted the theory, disputing scientific claims that the virus originated in Africa and accusing the U.S. government of manufacturing the disease in military labs. When she won the Nobel Peace Prize, Kenyan ecologist Wangari Maathai, used the international spotlight to support the theory as well. Others insist that the government deliberately injected gay men with the virus during 1978 hepatitis B experiments in New York, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. Still, others point to Richard Nixon, who combined the U.S. Army's biowarfare department with the National Cancer Institute in 1971. Though the co-discoverers of HIV, Dr. Robert Gallo and the National Cancer Institute, and Dr. Luc Montagnier of the Pasteur Institute in Paris, don't agree on its origins. Most members of the scientific community believe the virus jumped from monkeys to humans sometime during the 1930s.
All I know is
Sorry.
that shit's crazy.
Can we just go back to the Tuskegee
Yeah.
syphilis study? I mean, I think that during 1978 and the hepatitis B experiments sounds pretty plausible.
It does. Like no, I'm not like I sorry, I didn't mean to make it sound like I was like saying crazy like it's not possible, because oh my god, yeah, it's possible. Like they do
Oh,
crazy shit all the time.
no, I didn't think
Uh,
you were saying that at all. Dude, I have no way of knowing. So what are they saying? That at some point in the time in the 1930s, somebody went and plugged a freaking monkey. I mean, that's believable too.
yeah, dudes will fuck anything.
Yeah. And apparently so will women in Mexico. So
Yes. Dude, I don't think that's restricted to Mexico, but yeah.
no, it happens in Colombia too.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, that reminds me. I have a friend in Colombia trying to get me to come down for Christmas. I asked her how good the cocaine is, and she laughed.
He's like, oh, chew on this
Not
leaf.
doing cocaine.
Chew on it's well, dude. In some places down there, they have caramelized cocoa leaves. So,
Oh yeah, dude. Like in like the mountains, they just walk around like chewing on that shit like it's candy,
yeah.
because it helps them breathe in the high altitude.
In Top Gear, one of the Top Gear specials, Richard Hammond fucking eats like fucking 3 of them, and he doesn't really know what they are. He just eats them, and then the whole night while they're driving, he's sitting there fucking talking while he's freezing his ass off. Okay.
Dude, that's funny.
Last but not least, we got some Alex Jones shit here. They're turning the frogs gay. The reptilian elite. The next one is the reptilian elite.
The reptilian what?
Elite.
Oh, the reptilians running the world.
Yes. They're among us, blood-drinking, flesh-eating, shape-shifting, extraterrestrial reptilian humanoids with only one
Dude,
objective in their cold-blooded little heads: to enslave the human race. They are our leaders, our corporate executives, our beloved Oscar-winning actors and Grammy-winning singers, and they're responsible for the Holocaust, the Oklahoma City bombings, and the 9/11 attacks, at least according to former BBC sports reporter David Icke, who became the poster human for the theory in 1998.
The poster? Did you just say the poster human?
Yes. Grammy-winning, according to former BBC sports writer David Icke, who became the poster human for the theory in 1998 after publishing his first book, The Biggest Secret, which contained interviews with 2 Brits who claimed members of the royal family are nothing more than reptiles with crowns. The picture is Dracula meets Swamp Thing. So the conspiracy theorist and New Age philosopher who wore only turquoise for a time and insisted on being called Son of God, Son of Godhead, says these Anunnaki, the reptiles, have controlled humankind since ancient times.
Yeah, it's the Anunnaki.
Huh?
The Anunnaki.
The Anunnaki have controlled humankind since ancient times. They count among their number Queen Elizabeth, George Bush, Henry Kissinger, Bill and Hillary Clinton, and Bob Hope. Encroaching on other conspiracy theorist territory, Icke even claims that the lizards are behind secret societies like the Freemasons and the Illuminati. Since earning the dubious title of Paranoid of the Decade in the late 1990s, Icke has written several books on the topic, including his latest work, The David Icke Guide to the Global Conspiracy, while operating his own website, complete with merchandise and advertisements.
Dude, it's awesome. I think that's awesome.
That's classic. Oh, shit. Oh, so some of these conspiracies are funny. Some of them are true. We've discussed at least 12 of them that came true, like the Tuskegee Project.
Yeah.
So, I guess it's getting close to time to wrap up. It's 9:39, so
Yeah, this was fun to have a less serious episode.
oh,
Like,
absolutely, I agree. That was great.
I
Hopefully,
I still
hopefully you
wish
guys
Brian had been
enjoyed
here
it.
so we could have like taken more shots at the Catholic Church.
Yeah, that would have been great.
All right, guys, if you enjoyed us like goofing around for this episode, like comment, let us know. If you want us to stay serious every episode, comment, let us know. But whatever you do, make sure you hit the subscribe, hit the bell so you get the notifications. Share us so other people can laugh at our dumbasses too. Again, we're just normal guys. We have like full-time jobs. Like he works in a shop, so he could never do this while he's working. But like me and Brian, we're always working while we're doing the show just to make sure we get the time to do the show. So like we appreciate that you're joining us. But make sure to subscribe so we can keep doing what we're doing. We really do appreciate you guys. We love the growth. I mean, we're just like growing like crazy. Our audience is like just growing off the chart. Like I wouldn't say that we're going viral yet, but we're definitely trending, and we appreciate that people are enjoying the content. So thank you guys.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Once you click that bell, select all notifications so that you get notified every time we drop exquisite content like we did today. And hopefully we're going to be putting out shorts like Rob does his Democrat fact checks. Brian is
And
going to be putting out.
we got a new segment coming from Brian on Friday. He already recorded it and sent it to me, so we actually have it. And then I'm going to be doing a new one this Friday since we don't have the or rather Brian's is going to go up on Thursday. And then on Friday, because it's the off week for doing the watch parties, I'm going to be airing a new segment on Friday. So hopefully you guys will like my personalized segment on that. That'll be every other week.
And I noticed that you guys have been checking out my rant, and you love the last rant you guys apparently loved because it got more views than I even imagined. And we just posted that early this morning.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Thanks for the comments. We appreciate you guys. We're always open to different points of view. We may not like them. You may not like what we have to say about your points or your comments, but we'll always keep it peaceful and cordial. We're not out here to spread hate. We're just out here to spread information and our own opinions. We're just commentators. So with that in mind, we hope that we can keep bringing you guys great content, maybe make you guys laugh with some of our off the wall stuff, like the conspiracy theories that we did today, which actually end up being truths. So yeah, just make sure that you share, comment, get our word out there, have some laughs with us, have some cries, get mad, get happy, whatever. We're just here for that, and we just want to keep you guys informed. And thanks a lot for watching, you guys.
Yeah, Trump Rubio 2024.
All right. I'm thinking Trump Lake, but either way.
Yeah, that would work too. Hey, maybe it's a good thing she didn't become governor.
Right?
Now she's available.
All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night.